Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing something a bit different. I don't think I've ever done this before, but we're going to be doing a Q&A where it's just focused solely on Dokkan. I might do one for Legends in the future, but for now, I just wanted to focus on Dokkan for this one. So basically asked on Twitter. I don't really have to, so I still have to get the Tech Ultimate Gohan showcase out, but those longer showcases, when you talk about recording, editing, uploading, rendering, like all this stuff, like it takes about 5 hours. If the video ends up being like in total like an hour and 15 minutes long, which these recent ones have been that long, in total it takes about 5 hours of my time. I don't have that amount of time right now, so I will soon though. This is going to be the last week where I'm super busy, and then once that's over I'll be able to pump out more content. I kind of want to try and go back to doing 2 videos a day, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I figured this would be a pretty cool video to do. I never done this before. Let me know down below if this is a good idea. If you guys like this, if you don't like this, I'm open to criticisms. Let me know. But we're just going to go through the comments as they appear to me. I don't really know the order of how they display the comments on here. Maybe it's... I actually have no idea because these are all different times on here. But I'm going to try and go through as many as I can. I'm obviously not going to get through all of them because there's like hundreds of comments on this. But if I don't give a super detailed answer, just know that that's because I'm trying to go through as many as I can. Probably limit this video to like 20 minutes tops, so we'll just go ahead and get started here. Who's going to fill up the part 2 of the celebration we have going on right now? Do you think it could be all the stuff that Global missed, like Kale and Khalifa, EZA, etc., or maybe a slight chance that Golden Frieza might come crazy earlier, like a Global first? So literally my video that I released today, I'm recording this video on the 11th. I made a video talking exactly about this point. I think Golden Frieza is a possibility. I think a Global First is a possibility. Or it's possible they just don't do anything. Right? It's possible they just leave it how it is. And there's just like a super long period of nothing. That's possible too. Who's my absolute favorite singular LR in Dokkan? Not necessarily the best or most useful, just my favorite to use. It would have to either be the LR Broly trio. I'd probably put them as number 1. And then a close second would probably be the Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku, because I just like how he's so versatile, and the Rainbow Key Sphere generation is really helpful for everybody, including himself, so I like that unit a lot as well. If I had to choose one LR to get renewed for super attacks, who would it be? I would choose LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. They really deserve new super attacks. Yeah, I mean, the thing with the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta is their super attacks aren't good, I would say, but they're not bad considering their 4-year units, right? 4 years after the game released, that's when they came out. For the time, the super attacks weren't great, but if I had to choose one, oh boy, I think... So I'd have 2 answers for this. Obviously, my first answer would be LR First Form Frieza, the Prime Battle one, because it's insane to me how we still don't have like a really well done super attack animation of when he blows up Planet Vegeta. Legends has it. It's an LF in Legends. And obviously the First Form Frieza Prime Battle one, that's the attack that he's supposed to be doing. I mean, it was pretty good for the time it came out, honestly. That super attack animation is actually, it was really good. But nowadays it just doesn't hold the candle to the other ones that are newer. So that one, and then I think just in general, people would generally agree with what I'm about to say here. LR Broly, the original strength LR Broly, the summonable one, his super attacks are terrible. His 12-key super attack was literally taken from the STR Broly that was released. He was the first Dokkan Fest exclusive that ever came out. And then the 18 keys, honestly, really not that good looking either, so I think I would choose him. What new game mode do you think Dokkan needs the most right now, and how would you go about it if I were the devs? That's a very difficult question to answer because, first of all, I don't think Dokkan needs a new game mode. It would be really nice to have a new one, but I don't think it's needed right now. Chain Battle is fairly new. And instead of having a new game mode released, I would rather them try and focus on hammering out the issues with Chain Battle as opposed to just creating a new game mode right now. But you know, the recent survey did ask, like, one of the questions and one of the answers was, like, what would you like to see in Dokkan? And then I think it was like a new game mode where there's a different way of using your characters or something like that. And that's the answer I chose because I just want to see more diversity in the gameplay in Dokkan. So I've said this before many times, I think, but I actually really was a big fan. I didn't actually play it myself because I'm a global main, but I really like the concept of Dokkan Battlefield 1.0, which is basically where you control your character. You like put them on like the either the top, middle, or bottom path, and it was kind of like a pseudo tower defense game. I kind of like that idea, and I think if they flesh that idea out more, that could easily become a new mode in this game again. How do I feel about a God Topo that exchanges into a Jiren? Jiren just roundhouse kicks Topo off the screen and starts powering up. I think it'd be kind of funny. I mean, let's talk about Topo just in general, right? So we only really have 2 Topos. We actually had 1 up until recently. The first Topo we had, obviously, was the one that, the STR one that goes into God Topo and Dokkan Awakens. And now, recently, we got the one who Dokkan Awakens into Topo and Pride Troopers that came out with LR Jiren on JP. So we have 2 Topos. And one of the glaring omissions is we don't have a base form, just regular standalone Topo. Like, the only ones we have, so both of those Topos start out as base form, I guess technically base form, or just, standalone Topo, that's it, as the SSR. But we don't have a TUR Topo in the game. So I feel like once they do the inevitable Dokkan Fest or just summonable LR version of Topo, he's going to be a transforming one that goes into God of Destruction Topo. That's what I'm expecting. And I've seen people speculate that that could be what we're going to get for Part 2 of the current celebration on JP with after Golden Frieza's banner goes away, is a transforming Topo that goes from, just regular Topo to God of Destruction Topo. That would be cool. Again, even more tournament power stuff. So they really are hammering home all of this tournament power stuff. They were like, for 2 years, they were just like, you know what, we're going to be kind of conservative with how we release tournament power units. And then this year, they were just like, okay, well, we'll just release them all at once. So I think that's what we could see. I think it's not a bad guess at all. Does the age of the game ever worry you that it could end in the next couple of years? I know I think about that sometimes. Yeah, I think everybody has at least thought about this once, right? It's just something that's natural to think about. Because at the end of the day, people aren't going to like to hear this, but gacha games are not going to be around forever, especially this one, especially the ones that we're seeing right now. I mean, Dokkan is approaching 6 years, right, on JP. Most gacha games don't last, like, 3+ years. Like, generally they hit 3 years old, and then that's the game. The game's over. But I think Dokkan, obviously, very much so is an exception to that rule just because of how much money it makes, how popular it is, and the fact that they're riding off of the back of the Dragon Ball, brand name. That plays a big factor into, how successful the game is and their intentions to keep the game going for as long as they can. I think at this current point, Dokkan has been doing so well financially and consistently doing well that I don't really see the end in sight at any point in the near future, personally speaking. Excluding Wicked Bloodline, what are your top 3 favorite categories? I'm actually going to open up the list and take a look here because I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. Probably none of the new ones. None of the new categories are really that good in my opinion, just because they're all subjective. I don't really like that. Transformation Boost is cool. I like Transformation Boost. I think it's a fairly self-explanatory category without many glaring omissions. The only one I guess you could sort of complain about is Majin Vegeta. The transforming tech Majin Vegeta is not on there. But I guess there's arguments for both sides of that point. What else? It's tough to say. I mean, Super Saiyans is fun, just because again I really like the Spirit Palms Warp Goku. Would be really interesting once they start fleshing out Dragon Ball Heroes content, because the Heroes category could be good. The reason why the Heroes category could be good is because there's so many different types of characters in the category, right? It's basically like a Saga category. Like Majin Buu Saga has Buu units, it has Saiyans, it has Earthlings. Like there's so many different kinds of characters in that saga, in that category, that I think that makes it artificially a pretty good category, because then they have to make units that are like support units for the category. That makes everything tie together well. And I think once we start getting more Heroes collabs that sort of give us more Heroes units, either free to play or summonable, that will flesh out this category and make it actually like a real category. Because right now I wouldn't really consider that a real category. Super Dragon Ball Heroes predictions. I did a video over on Truth's channel talking about this. And the only prediction I have right now for Dragon Ball Heroes is we're like 110% going to see something big coming in, I think it's probably going to be early November, but we're going to start seeing teasers of it this month, late this month, like around the 27th or 28th of this month, because this is the 10th anniversary of Dragon Ball Heroes, the arcade game, being out. And I do not see them missing out on this opportunity to capitalize off of that chance. So they did the survey. They asked, do you want to see Heroes, Dokkan Fests, or LRs? And I'm assuming most people said yes. So, if they're going to do that, this is the year. 10th anniversary is a pretty damn big time to be celebrating for that game. So, we'll see. What categories would you like to see get buffs / additions in the future? Yeah, so this is, for feel like I've said this a million times before in the past as well, but you know, all those small categories that don't really get representation too often, World Tournament, Dragon Ball Saga, Namekians, Giant Form, Ginyu Force, like all those categories that are just there and aren't really ever being used. So those ones I would say for sure. And maybe even like a special pose too. It seems the extremes are first for the 120s. What do you think the order will be after Kid Buu? I think it'll be Janemba, Cooler, and no, I don't think they're gonna finish the extremes and then do all the supers in a row. I think this is probably going to be the last extreme 120 EZA we see for a bit, and then I think they might go on and do like 3 super ones. So maybe after Buu, I think maybe we'll see Super Saiyan 3 Goku, then we'll see Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. And then maybe they come back and do Janemba, and then they go over back to the super units and do the remaining 3, which are Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and then the last one's probably going to be Physical Cooler, because Physical Cooler, I think, has the potential to be the best one. And I think a lot of people know that. So, also the fact that the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta are directly competing with the LRs. And Physical Cooler doesn't really have anyone to directly compete with, because the only other like top tier cooler unit in the game that's not Metal Cooler is the Transforming Strength one, but he's not Final Form. So he's probably going to be the most desirable one out of all these guys, I would say. How would you organize the friend system? If and when Dokkan fixes the friend system, will they make every sub-leader rainbow? What would be your prediction of how the system will be in the future when it's reworked? I think the way that Hydros has Trident set up, where you pretty much just have a mirror of your friend, or sorry, of your leader, is a good way to do it. The only thing I would say about that system is it really sort of invalidates the entire friend system itself, other than the fact that you can use their leader. So like, why would you care about adding someone to your friends list if you could just use your own leaders? I guess that would, I mean, I guess if you don't have the unit rainbow, then you could, you know, if one of your friends had a unit rainbow or something, you could use that one instead of your own. But I think they would have to add some additional perks to having friends and adding people as friends in your game for that to be a thing for the friend system. What units are you expecting to come in the next calendar year? It's impossible to answer, but maybe some more Tournament of Power units. I would hope they go back and sort of explore the Saiyan Saga, because there really aren't that many units in the Saiyan Saga. Hopefully some GT stuff, because GT has been pretty much nowhere to be found since the 4-year anniversary, so we're almost 2 years since we've gotten GT content. So those are my 2 hopes: Saiyan Saga and then anything from GT, really. Why do you think we randomly got 2 Saiyan Saga units, LR Krillin and Nappa and Vegeta, in a celebration that had nothing to do with the Saiyan Saga? Okay, actually that's interesting that that connects straight with the point I was just talking about. I think the reason why they did that is because they had no intention of going to the Saiyan Saga anytime soon, which is why I'm hoping next year in 2021 they do start to look at that, and you know, there's some hype moments in there, like the Goku versus Vegeta, Goku versus Raditz. I mean, they just think about what they released this year. They released a Raditz that we never really had a good Raditz unit. I mean, they had the free one to got an EZA, but other than that, we didn't really have a summonable one. Now we do. We never really had a good Nappa unit. The best Nappa unit prior to the LR coming out was the Baba one, the Baba Shop Nappa. So we have a really good Nappa now. We had some decent Vegetas from the Saiyan Saga. We had the physical one, obviously was the better one. And then, I mean, back in the day, the Grade 8 Vegeta wasn't terrible, but he wasn't anything to write home about. So what's funny about that Vegeta, though, the exchange one with the LR one, with the exchange with Nappa, is that animation that he does with the Gallic Gun when he's exchanged, like, that is what I would have expected out of a Dokkan Fest or an LR standalone Saiyan Saga Vegeta, because that's, like, the attack that he does. The only other thing I could see, in terms of, like, you know, a hype extreme unit for the Saiyan Saga to represent that, to represent the fight between him and Goku, Vegeta and Goku, is a Grade 8 version of Vegeta. So maybe some like uber powerful Grade 8 Vegeta who is like a giant form 170 across the board 4 key leader or something like that. That just like is just ridiculously powerful. Like that I could see happening for sure for Saiyan Saga. Think they'll start from the beginning of Z and Dokkan again. As in, do a Saiyan Saga, so much Saiyan Saga questions, I'm surprised. And then go to Frieza and then Cell and so on and so forth. If so, what new meta could they introduce? Perhaps triple categories, say a Gohan that leads Saiyan full power new category. I actually don't want triple categories at all. I do not want triple categories because at that point, it's just too many options. I'm all for optionality in terms of team building, but I think there's a point where you get to, and it's just you have too many options. Like this goes back to the days of when STR Gogeta came out for the first anniversary, and yeah, back then we had way less units to choose from to build our teams with, but you sort of like didn't know where to start in terms of building a team. And if you include that many teams include that many categories that you can build a team from, I think you're gonna eventually settle on like one build that everybody's using, and it's just like, okay, everyone's using the same team. But I don't really think triple categories are ever gonna happen, just because it would be very close to just having like an all types leader, right? But in terms of them starting from the beginning of Z again, I do think Saiyan Saga needs more representation 100%, so definitely that one. And the funny thing about the Frieza Saga, I guess Planet Namek Saga, is we don't have like a Dokkan Fest Final Form Frieza, who is like by far the most popular villain in the entire franchise. So it's kind of weird, but that's what they could do for that. And then something else from the Planet Namek Saga that I really want them to do is a Dokkan Fest Captain Ginyu that I've been asking for like 6 years now. Please, I just want a Dokkan Fest Captain Ginyu. He could do a body change, he could do whatever. He is worthy. I'm telling you right now, he would sell really well. Captain Ginyu would sell really well on JP. I'm not so sure about global, but on JP, I'm telling you right now, people would buy him. So definitely need that. Cell Saga, I think we're probably covered for a little bit, just because only last year we had done that entire arc going up to the 300 million download celebration with the Cell Saga. So I don't know if we need more in the Cell Saga right now, but definitely in the future we're going to go back there, because it's one of the major arcs of the entire series. Do you think they should add the 50% support units onto legendary summon banners? Whew, that's an interesting one. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Do you mean like in the general pool? Because if they added them in the general pool, that wouldn't really matter to most people. Sure, you have a chance of pulling them, but it's like you have the same chance of pulling them as you do with any other unit in the game. It's unfeatured, so like any other LR, any other unfeatured unit. I don't think that really would matter too much, but if they want to do that, I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, I think right now those banners come back too infrequently to justify them being exclusives on there. That's my opinion on those guys. What do I think of this? What if you were able to pre-order coin shop units? Like, for example, once the Ultimate Gohan goes away, you can pre-order him in the coin shop for a little bit of a higher price, like 10 to 50 extra coins, but you get him a week or two in advance. What does that even mean? Pre-order coin shop units, like for example, once the Ultimate Gohan goes away, you can pre-order him in the coin shop for a little bit of a higher price, 10 to 50 extra coins, but you get him a week or two in advance. What do you mean in advance? In advance of what? I think the way that they do the coins is actually pretty generous, because if you take a look, because I only play 2 games. Well, I kind of play Masters too, but I don't really play it as much as I used to. So I only really play Dokkan and Legends. And if you compare Dokkan's pity system, which is the coin shop, directly to the way Legends does it, I think Dokkan handles it way, way better than Legends. Legends' pity system are the Legends tickets, and the way that it works over there, if you guys aren't familiar with it, is so LF units are basically the equivalent of LRs in that game, pretty much. They have 0.25% pull rates, so they have half the pull rate of an LR, which is ridiculous. And in order to purchase one from the ticket shop, it costs 1,000 tickets, and you get 10 tickets per multi. So it's 100 multis you have to do to get one copy. And something else too is that those Legends tickets aren't even available on every banner. So Dokkan Fest coins, or even just the gacha coins in general, you can get those on every banner. The Legends tickets, now granted there's only one type of Legends tickets, you can only get those on certain banners. Those are not on every banner. Recently they've done a better job of adding those to other banners besides just the step-up banners recently, but it's still very limited. So I would just, before you guys go ahead and criticize the Dokkan, I guess, pity system, keep in mind that other games do it way worse than Dokkan does. So, yeah. What character that deserves an LR that doesn't have one yet do you think deserves one? Except for Kid Buu. Yeah, because Kid Buu is the one everyone would say, right? Deserves an LR. Well, I mean, you guys heard me say it before, right? Not full power Frieza. Final Form Frieza. I think definitely deserves an LR. Just, being the most popular villain in Dragon Ball. The most popular iteration of the most popular villain. And then to go alongside that, I think Namek Goku, from when he first goes Super Saiyan, deserves an LR as well. I guess you can sort of argue that the original LR Goku is that Goku, but it's not. That Goku doesn't exist in the original story, because that Goku, I guess the nearest Goku in the story to that LR Goku, the Prime Metal LR Goku, is when he fights Kid Buu with the Spirit Bomb, but the clothes are different. The clothes in that card are just his regular gi. He's just normal Goku with his regular gi as Super Saiyan. When Goku fights Frieza, he has the torn blue gi, and when Goku fights Kid Buu and does the Spirit Bomb, he also has the torn blue gi. So that Goku does not line up anywhere in the series. So I would say, this is going to be cliche, but it's true. Goku from Namek versus Frieza, and then Frieza from that same fight. Not full power Frieza, just regular Final Form Frieza. They both need LRs very badly. Not anything Dokkan related, but I hope you're doing well and keep up the great work. Also, when you finally get a day off from work, get some rest. Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, so my busy season, quote unquote, ends on Thursday this week, the 15th of October. So that will be when I start getting more rest. So I appreciate that. How was my day? But in Dokkan, it was good. Did the podcast earlier today, and then while I was going on, I was leveling links at the same time, trying to get Gohan up as much as possible before I do his showcase. Hopefully we can get him fully level 10, but if not, I'm not going to try for it. What are my thoughts on the whole topic of best TUR/LR/unit in the game? I knew this was coming. And do you think that there is or ever will be sufficient answers to that question? So I could talk about this for like 10 minutes, but I have intentionally been silent on that discussion recently because I know there's been so many heated discussions about who's better, Frieza or Gohan or Cooler, like who's the best TUR. The reason why I have, first of all, there's multiple reasons why I don't talk about it. The first one is, if I say anything about Frieza, anything at all, and if I compare Frieza to any other character, including Gohan, including Cooler, people are instantly going to call me biased. So there's not even, there's no reason for me to even talk about it, because the second I start talking about Frieza in any respect at all, about any character, any unit in the game with Frieza, people are instantly going to call me biased, so I figured there's no point even talking about it. And then number two, I don't think there is a quote-unquote definitive best unit in the game, best TUR in the game, best LR in the game, blah, 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 blah. I think the most objective way to go about sort of looking at like who's the best unit is the way that I do my long showcases, because at the end of those showcases, I do an evaluation portion of the video, and I rank the unit out of 50 for different categories. I have 5 categories. I have attack, defense, short events, long events, and usability. So I think that is the most objective way you can look at which units are better than others, just how well they perform in different facets of the game. But even that has bias to it, because obviously, your experience with one unit is going to be different than someone else's experience with the same unit. So the way that you judge that unit's performance in a different scenario from somebody else is going to be different. So again, I guess technically speaking, there is a way to do it if you have a very objective study, and we're talking about a mobile game here. Like, if you have a very objective study and you go through thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of tests under the same exact conditions for 2 different units, and you run like control tests and a very scientific way to look at things. If you do those tests and you have all the data and you have a sufficient answer, that's like the most objective way you could do that. But nobody's ever going to be able to realistically do that. So I think at this point, it's just better to say no one's the best, but you can sort of make that inference. You can sort of infer that on your own time or whatever. So that's why the argument will never go away. Okay. If you were on the development team on day 1, what is one thing you would have gotten rid of, or one thing you would have put into the game? That's a very general question. Well, I think at this point in time, it would have to be the friend system fixing that, because literally preventing you from using teams that you want to use is like, I don't even know how that's still a possibility. But if I was on the team day 1, that's tough to answer, because that would go back to talking about, altering the foundation of the game and the core of the game. I don't know if it would have changed anything. I think I don't know, because this game's success is largely based off of the collection aspect of the game. Nobody really cares about how good units are, really. I mean, it certainly plays a factor into if people decide to summon for units or not, how good they are. But I think at this point, people are really just interested in, okay, how cool is this unit to use? How fun is this unit to use? Like, what is this unit's kit doing? Are the animations really cool? Like, what is going on here? So I think a way that they can hype up the game more than it is already is increase the overall quality of different animations in the game. And this is why I'm the only person who's talked about this before, but that I know of. I really want to see them overhaul the basic attack animation. Like, you know, when you don't get a super attack and you just like punch the enemy or whatever and throw a key blast or whatever, those animations need to be updated like right now, because those are not fun to look at. They're so slow. Like it's just like those aren't visually stimulating or whatever you want to call it. It's just not cool. Like it just doesn't look interesting or fun. So that's something I think they should really focus on improving next. And I don't know how hard that would be, because I don't know if like every single sprite would need to be updated or whatever that work goes into that would be, but that's what I want to see next. And I think we'll do like 2 more and then we'll call it. What do you think if LR int cell transformation conditions work the same way transforming red cell in Legends? Do you think there should be more Dragon Ball Heroes units as the... Okay, I'm only going to do 1. This is actually an interesting question. So if LR int cell transformation conditions work the same way as transforming red cell in Legends, I actually didn't even think about that. That is... That's nuts. If that... Okay, so if you guys aren't aware... there is a fairly new cell they introduced to Dragon Ball Legends, and the way that his transformation works, so he goes from, you know, perfect form to perfect cell, basically when he blew himself up, is once he basically has 2 life bars. Once the first life bar goes away, or once he gets killed once, he transforms into perfect cell. So I guess his question would be, instead of Cell having to fall below 30% health to transform, what if he transformed when you died? Well, first of all, that would be very broken. Like, very, very broken. Like, honestly, probably the most broken ability in the entire game. And it would have to depend on how it worked. Because, like, let's say Cell is in the first slot, and Cell's getting attacked a few times. If Cell dies in that first slot, do you just nullify the rest of the turn, and then he transforms the next turn? Or does he immediately transform on that turn, and then the turn continues to play out as normal? I guess it would depend on a lot of that kind of stuff, but they would have to balance it very carefully, because that could be stupidly broken. Alright, last question. Could you read the Fusions category description and explain why you think Super 17 should somehow still be put on the category? I don't even know what that is. Is that like on the wiki? Let me just see if I can pull that up real quick. Dokkan Fusion category. Okay, here it is. Consists of Fusion Dance and EX Fusion characters. Is that what he's talking about? And explain why you think Super 17 should somehow still be put on the category. I mean, first of all, I don't like this definition. I mean, it fits the category because that's what the category is. And I'm not saying that that's a wrong definition of the category, right? I'm just saying I don't like how that's how they define the category. I think the category should just be any characters that have fused other than means of Potara. Because Potara is the Potara category. It's very obvious what it is, right? Potara, literally anybody who's wearing Potara is on the category, pretty much. So that includes, like, you know, Vegeta, Supreme Kai, Goku Black. They're all on there. This category should just be any character who fuses by means of other than the Potara fusion. So that would include, like, Android 13 should be on here. Super 17 should be on here. Legends has Omega Shenron on the fusion category. I guess technically he would be on here, but that's a little questionable in my opinion. So I don't know about him. But yes, I do think Super 17 should be on here. I do think Super 13 should be on here. I don't know. I think instead of them being more restrictive with the categories, they should be less restrictive, right? I think if more units were available to be used on a category like Fusions, which, by the way, isn't really that great of a category because it's very limited in the amount of units that you can use here. This is the entire category right here. this would be a much better category if you had options like Super 17, because Super 17 after ZZA is really good. And even 13, you know, you have the AGL one who's untransformed, but he transforms in his transformation, obviously. And then the Int one, who's not terrible, but I don't think he'd throw in here because he needs the Android allies, right? But that could be potentially a rotation that you run on this team. If you had, you know, Int 13 and Super 17 together, like that could be a decent rotation on the fusion category. So I don't know if just the definition here is what's the limiting factor, right? This is a definition that the wiki came up with. This isn't an official definition. And I don't think limiting this category to just Fusion Dance and EX Fusion, whatever that even means, I think that's Fusion's term. I don't think that's the right move. I don't. All right, well, that's going to be it for this one. I know, how many questions did I get through? Probably like 20 or so. That's a lot. Like I had a lot of questions. So I have 210 responses. There's no way I can get through all that, but appreciate you guys who contributed to that, and let me know down below if you like this kind of video. I haven't really done this before, but you can let me know how good it was, how bad it was, whether you agree with my answers, disagree with my answers, and I will see you all in the next one.